Hey gang, John Bacarella here with your Lake St. Clair Fishing Report brought to you by Sportsmen's Direct. It is June 4th and it finally actually feels almost like June out there, at least over the last couple of days. So hopefully you guys were able to get some of those honeydews done. I got a garden put in and oh man, I'm a little bit sore from that. But anyways, get those honeydews done so you can get out and fish and take advantage of this great fishery we got out there. So right now, what's going on? So St. Clair River, still on fire. I know that sounds like I say that every week. The guys are finally starting to pick up some good numbers from shore up there. I mean, pretty much the boardwalk all the way up into Marysville. And the guys out in the boats. So this is probably the biggest change up there for the St. Clair River right now, is that the bite is switching right now. And I know you guys that are jigging, are you going to say, yeah, I'm still getting my limit? Yeah, you're still getting your limit. But some of the bigger fish right now are coming on crawler harnesses. So if you want to target bigger fish, switch over to harnesses. You can start out, maybe, you get your limit or, solidify your limit early by jigging and then switch over to harnesses and go for some bigger fish. And, that could be a really good game plan. Out here in the main lake, we got the walleyes are still going, albeit those big schools seem like they've broken up into smaller pods of fish. So you got to kind of hunt down those pods of fish. Once you find them, go back in and make short runs on those fish and get your limit that way. You don't want to do those big long trolls unless you're searching for fish. Once you find them, zero in on them, hit your waypoint button or throw a marker out if you're old school, and then just keep hammering them until you get your fish. Depths on those fish are ranging anywhere from 6 feet still out to like 12, 13 feet of water. So it's, fish that color, that's the main thing. So fish the color and let the color be the guide. If you're still jigging the Detroit River, guys are still getting them down there, although there's more people hand lining, I would say, and you're gonna have to start to deal with more and more white bass as we go, even though it's really late for those fish too. Normally they would have been just stacked like cordwood by now by Memorial Weekend, but everything is late. Now the smallmouth bass, they are spawning. So the American side over here, there's a lot of fish spawning, but I know a lot of you guys are going right up in on the bank and trying to target those real shallow fish. Don't forget, our water levels are way up. So you've got fish spawning out in 10, 12 feet of water and deeper. So those fish aren't going to be, sight fishable for the most part. You're just going to have to fish, and let your sixth sense be the guide on those fish. And same deal, when you find those fish, when you find a pocket of them, and you can work them out there in that deeper water. But I know a lot of you guys like to go in and sight fish, and with the winds and the rain and everything we've had, some days you've been able to do that and some days not so much. So you're just going to have to play it by ear. Now the crazy part is we had a Michigan walleye tour was in town this weekend, and they were over on, a lot of those guys were fishing over by the Thames in a whole lot deeper water. And just to show you the diversity on this lake, those guys were catching a ton of big bass out in like 20 feet of water, pulling cranks and harnesses for walleyes. So, and those fish are not ready to spawn. So that'll tell you what we got coming. I mean, this lake with the, with that cold water coming in from Huron, and that channel, all that flow through the middle of the lake, and the big temperature gradients that we've got out there, the variation in temps, you're going to have all different stages of fish for quite a while. It wouldn't surprise me this year, with as cold as the water is, we could have fish out there still spawning 4th of July. So, but especially over on that Canadian side or in those areas where they're getting a little more colder flow. But so you got walleyes up in the St. Clair River. You got lots of walleyes going down here in the main lake. You still got walleyes down there in the Detroit River. The smallies are going everywhere. The muskies have been going pretty good. There was some pretty good sized fish caught this weekend out there, and that's just going to continue on. Boat traffic has definitely picked up. For you kayakers, we had a lot of kayakers in town over the last week or so, and man, I think that boat traffic beat you poor guys up out there pretty bad. So there was, everybody's been waiting to get out, and we finally had a couple of warm days and decent weather, and everybody brought the big boats out, and it was pretty bumpy out there. I've finally got a perch report for you guys. That northeast corner of the dump is starting to produce some nice perch. So if you're interested, those weeds are coming up out there. That's an area where those weeds start to come up early. Go out there and target some perch. I'm sure that Bell River hump is going over there as well, although I don't have any reports. But if that northeast corner of the dump is going, I would think over there off of the hump will be going as well. Same thing up there in the up by Anchor Bay, up by that B marker area, out there by Grassy. these weed beds out in front of Gino's, 9 Mile, out in front of 9 Mile between there and the yacht club. You're going to start to pick up some perch out there as those weeds start to come up and as the mayfly hatch just starts. But haven't seen any of those critters yet, so, and I know it turns a lot of you guys off, but actually that's kind of a good signal for when those fish are out on those flats out there, because that's what they're eating. But haven't seen any mayflies yet other than the ones we got tied here in the store. What else do I got for you guys going on out there? More panfish action still going. Pumpkin seeds, bluegills, some shallow perch as well, and lots of crappies. We're seeing a lot more crappies this year than we have in a long time, and this higher water is just going to help all of those species this year, both in food and in spawning habitats. So as long as these water levels stay high, things look really good for the future for the panfish population out here on the lake. Some northern pike being caught around. They're still getting some salmon and steelhead up there in the St. Clair River, and it's kind of amazing. I mean, still getting reports even from some of the big rivers up north, because, you know, again, just the colder temperatures, we're like a month behind on everything this year. So it's kind of amazing what's happened here with the fishery. We're kind of in uncharted water, honestly. Everything is so late that it's throwing all of us off on just about everything. You know, fish aren't where they normally are for this time of the year. Weeds aren't up as high as they should be with the water levels and so forth and the cooler temperatures. So, you know, you're gonna have to go out there and work a little bit. Just recognize that the fish aren't necessarily gonna be where they normally are, and you ought to do great. One other thing I wanted to bring up, I'm not going to put any pictures on this week's fishing report because I want to try something different. Normally I'm out there trolling the internet looking for your guys' pictures, but what I'd like you folks to do is, if you've got success stories and if you've got some great shots during the week, if you could post those up on Facebook with hashtag Sportsmen's Direct, I'll search those pictures out and we'll try to use them in the upcoming fishing reports. Now, if you're not on Facebook, and I know some of you guys aren't, you could also send them in here to store@sportsmensdirect.com, and you can click, there's a link on our website at sportsmensdirect.com, and you can send them that way if you can't remember, store@sportsmensdirect. So with all that said, you guys get out there, take advantage of these warmer temps. We're supposed to be in the 70s all week. The wind's going to flip-flop around a little bit, but you can always find a spot out there where you can duck in out of the wind, and there's a lot of fish to go around. So get out there, get those honeydews done, and enjoy the warmer temperatures we got headed our way. Hey, if you guys really enjoy this content, please click the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you can make sure that you don't miss any new updates.